Good day, everyone. Thank you for tuning in for another episode for webinar from the School of Bioscience, Faculty of Medicine, Bioscience, and Nursing. Before we begin, do give us a thumbs up and share this video. Also follow our MAHSA University Facebook page for upcoming updates on our future events and webinar. In today's topic, we will discuss about the recent stories of a pandemic and the role of a biomedical scientist. It's an unsung hero. This webinar will give you the ideas of pandemics and the significant role played by the biomedical scientists during the time of pandemics. Before we go any further, I would like to introduce Ms. Sajna, a lecturer from the School of Bioscience. She has been working as a lecturer since 2015 and currently serving as the head of the Bachelor of Biomedical Science program. She is specialized in medical microbiology and cytogenetics. Ms. Sajna has published papers in Scopus Index journals and presented research work in several national and international conferences. If you have any question along this webinar, do drop it in the comment section as we will address it at the end of this session. Without delaying any further, let's hear it live from Ms. Sajna. Heading over to you, madam.
Thank you very much, Stan, for a wonderful introduction. Okay, and very good afternoon to all. Hope all of you are safe and fine there. And thank you, MAHSA University, for giving a chance. Okay, so today's webinar topic is recent stories of pandemics and the role of a biomedical scientist. Okay, about the university, MAHSA University is one of the reputed universities in Malaysia. It was started in MAHSA College in 2005, and it was established as a university college in 2009 and as established as a university in 2013. And what makes MAHSA a peculiar to be chosen for the program to study affordable tuition fee, wide range of facilities, especially the vast area of facilities are there. When it comes to academic, you can see the laboratory facilities, which are the excellent laboratory equipped laboratories can be seen in MAHSA University, and updated online learning platform. In this current scenario during the time of COVID, it's very important to have a platform for studies when it comes to online. So MAHSA University is providing an updated online learning platform. Then student support system, we have an excellent student support system to have an interaction with the students, and qualified academic accreditation. And we have accreditations, and especially for Bachelor of Biomedical Science program, we have lifelong accreditation with MQA. Then premium lectures for varying expertise. The lecturers who's teaching them are specialized in their respective subjects. And under the Faculty of Medicine, Bioscience, and Nursing, we are providing we are coming under School of Bioscience. We are providing Bachelor of Biomedical Science program, which is 4 years program, and Bachelor of Science in Biotechnology, which is 3 years program, and Diploma in Laboratory Technology, which is a diploma 3 years program, and Bachelor of Biomedical Science ODL, which is for working adults, especially. We are providing Bachelor of Biomedical Science program, which is using online platform. Then next is about pandemics. As we all know, we are surrounded by different type of huge varieties of microorganisms or tiny animals, and we are constantly having a war with them. When it comes to pandemic, this is the disease or any infection which is spreading rapidly among a community, and which is rapidly spreading around the border. It is crossing the borders and spreading to the countries and continents. These type of infections we are calling as pandemic. It's a form of epidemic. Epidemic usually spreading among the communities or a particular area. Then it will be spreading through the populations by crossing the borders of nation or entire nation or the entire continent. That is known as pandemic. Okay, so next we are discussing about the recent stories of pandemics. When it comes to human history, we have gone through a lot of pandemics. We have gone through plague, we have gone through smallpox, we have gone through cholera. Then recently also we are going through a lot of pandemics, mainly influenza virus mutated varieties. So let us discuss about a few recent stories of pandemics. Okay, human population has suffered from many pandemics throughout the history, and but it be earlier form of smallpox or tuberculosis or to the recent incidents of COVID-19. So we have, as I told, we have gone through a lot of pandemics through the history, and which has given a lot of experience to the humankind, through which they have learned how to survive the pandemic situations and be prepared for the pandemic situations. So when it comes to epidemic is refers to an increase or often sudden in number of cases of an infection disease above what is normally expected. Epidemic means usually one infection comes means it will be spreading all over, it will be spreading only to the particular area. But when it comes the spreading of this infection throughout that particular area, which is known as epidemic, which is usually limited to the entire nation, or which is usually limited to the entire state, which is an epidemic. When this epidemic is crossing the border and reaching to different societies, different continent, different countries, different people, it is known as pandemic. Then factors influencing pandemic. The factors influencing are the disease causing, its nature of the disease, the nature, whether it is easily spreading or it is taking time to spread. If it is easily spreading means, of course, it will be spreading throughout the nation, throughout the world very easily. Okay, and also it depends upon the movement of people. When we are moving from one place to another, when we are moving from one nation to another nation, when we are moving from one continent to another continent, there is a chance of spreading infection or pandemic very fast. Okay, these are the two factors which is causing infection. Then next is about the source of pandemic infections. Pandemic infections can be waterborne. Okay, through water we can get the infection. For example, cholera was received from, or that the source of cholera was from water. It was spread through, it was originated in India and it spread through the world, and scientists found that later the cholera bacteria, which is Vibrio cholera, is spreading through the water. Then airborne, as we know, the current situation, COVID-19 or any type of influenza virus usually spreading through the air. It is airborne virus, which is through sneezing or coughing, it will be spreading, and the transmissibility is very fast. It is spreading very fast from one person to another person. The next is bloodborne. A pandemic can be bloodborne. For example, HIV. HIV is a bloodborne disease and it can spread from human to human, and it is believed that it came from having the consumption of ape. After that only the AIDS came to human population or human beings, and then it spread through blood donation, unsafe blood donation or unsafe syringe usage, or the HIV is transmitted. Then next is zoonotic infection. Zoonotic origin. Zoonotic means it is usually from the animal to human beings. Okay. So for example, plague was a pandemic. It was originated from rats. Through flies, it reached to human beings. So these are the different sources from where the pandemics are coming. Then next is what are the different recent pandemics occurred in mankind? We can say Spanish flu, Asian flu, HIV, swine flu, and recently COVID-19. So these are the very important, which is important pandemic which happened recently. So Spanish flu, it was in 1918, influenza pandemic, the most severe pandemic in the recent history, and it was caused by H1N1 virus with the genes of avian origin. So after the First World War, the Spanish flu virus was started to spread among the US, UK, then Spain, then recent Pacific Island, remote areas such as Pacific Islands, then Antarctica, it reached there. But the name Spanish flu came because the other countries were suppressing the news of spreading of the infection, but Spain was frequently reporting about the Spanish flu, which killed a lot of people. So that's why the name Spanish flu. It was having the common symptoms of flu. They will be having the flu, then fever, running nose. Some of them will be having severe running, bleeding nose will be there. So the main peculiarity of the Spanish flu was it was killed mainly the young people because of the overdrive of their immune system. They worked very hard to resist this virus. So it killed mostly the young generation in that particular population. The next was Asian flu. It was another influenza pandemic. It was mainly originated from Hong Kong and Singapore. Then it was spread through Malaysia, then to the Japan, then to US. Okay, it was also a flu which was having the same symptoms of the flu, and it was lasting until 1958. Then it is originated from mutation in wild ducks combining with the pre-existing human strain. Usually the influenza virus is having a tendency to mutate since they're having two antigenic structures, hemagglutinin and neuraminidase, which are the two main antigens which are frequently showing the genetic variation. So it is becoming very difficult to treat these type of infections. The Asian flu also coming under the influenza type virus, where the gene of this virus has been mutated. Okay, and vaccine was this H2N2 was introduced in 1957, and the pandemic was slowed down. The next pandemic, it is HIV or AIDS. AIDS, which is caused by AIDS is an acute immunodeficiency syndrome, which is caused by the virus HIV, and which is causing immunodeficiency. Most of the people are dying not because of HIV infection. Most of them are dying because of the AIDS symptoms or AIDS complications. They will be having immunodeficiency symptoms or condition because of HIV infection. And it was originated in West Africa, but later it has spread to all over the world, because HIV is still now HIV is a very difficult, making people in a very difficult situation by compromising their immunity, and they will be vulnerable to most of the infections. So the ultimate result of this disease is death with immunocompromised condition. And it was first reported in 1981, and it was infected estimated 65 million people, and 25 million deaths were reported because of the HIV infection. Next is swine flu. Swine flu is influenza virus infection, and the influenza virus came from the swines, the pigs. Okay, it was caused by a new strain of H1N1 virus, and it was an influenza virus. It was believed to be originated from Mexico, and infected 14 million people across the globe and killed 151,700 people and 575,400 people according to the CDC, and which was also having the same symptoms of a common flu. And we have to same precautions for all type of influenza viruses were being taken, like social distancing and covering our nose and mouth with a mask. So these all are the common precautionary measures we are taking to prevent these infections. Okay, the recent infection is COVID-19. As we all know, it is defined as illness caused by a novel coronavirus. Now it is called as severe acute respiratory syndrome coronavirus, and this is also a flu-like symptom-causing virus, which is mainly affecting the immunocompromised people, especially adult and young children. And if they're having already any infections previously, it will be difficult for them to survive when they are having COVID-19 infection. And it was first identified in Wuhan city, Hubei province, China, and still the vaccine trials are running for this COVID-19 infection or corona infection. Okay. So patterns of infectious disease, changing patterns of infectious disease. That means why this infectious disease keep on coming or showing up in front of human community or humanity is because of antibiotic resistance. Because some of the infections are coming back because we are using antibiotics not in proper way. Because when doctor is prescribing the medicine for continuous course, some of us will be having a tendency to stop when we are feeling better. Then non-infectious diseases are getting discovered with an infectious origin because of the mutation. Some of the strains may be getting mutated, and they will be, initially they may be non-infectious, they were very harmless viruses or bacteria. Now they're changing to infectious bacteria or virus. Then emerging and re-emerging infectious diseases. That means the influenza came before in 1918. Again, it came as Asian flu, and again it came as swine flu. So the same virus infection will be coming in different forms. Then change of niche, such from animal to human beings. When we are having contact with animals, the viruses or bacteria or any type of microorganism which can come from animals to human beings, when they are changing their usual habitat, from a usual habitat, there is a chance of having a heavy or very serious infection with the viruses. When they're coming from the swine, or when they're coming from the pigs, or they're coming from other animals to human beings, there is a chance of changing their gene, and there is a chance of getting the infection. Next is role of a biomedical scientist. Usually, our biomedical scientist or a biomedical scientist is a part of frontliners for preventing the infections. So, a scientist trained in biology, particularly in medical in context, is a biomedical scientist. Biomedical scientists will be studying a biology, but in the aspect of medicine, where they will be studying about how human body works, the principle behind the human body, how a blood is produced, how blood is produced in the body, how muscles are moving, how a liver is functioning, how brain is functioning, how heart is functioning. Okay, this all things will be studied by a biomedical scientist. Okay, they will find how to cure, how to find a disease, how to laboratory diagnose, how to diagnose a disease, and they will be helping in the production of vaccine by developing advanced diagnostic tool. How to diagnose a disease, how to find the causative agent of a disease will be found by this biomedical scientist. That is the main area they are studying when they are going through this biomedical science course. Next is type of biomedical scientist. In infectious science, okay, when a biomedical science working in a lab, there is a chance of they will be working in a medical microbiology lab as a microbiologist or as a virologist to help in assaying the virus culture, or helping in the bacterial culture, or producing the lot of bacteria, culturing them to see what happens next, what can be the cure. Those all things will be done in an infection science or medical microbiology or virology lab. Then histopathology and cytology. When a virus or any pandemic infected, what happens in a system, what happens in a cell or what happens in a tissue will be studied by what kind of changes happening in a cell, or what kind of changes happening in a tissue is assessed by a cell scientist or a histopathologist or a cytologist. Next is genetics or molecular pathology. They will be studying about the gene aspects, DNA or RNA, what are the proteins they are producing, what are the enzymes they are producing, what kind of changes happening in the protein, or what kind of change happens in the DNA sequencing, RNA, or what kind of change happen in the enzyme production. These all will be studying in the genetic and molecular pathology. Then blood science, they will be taking the blood, they will be checking the biochemical content, what are the biochemical molecules present in the blood, what are the changes happen after infection, and what are the things before infection. Then blood transfusion, how to collect the blood, how to transfuse blood, what are the precautions we have to take while transfusing a blood. Then hematology, the same, RBC, what are the changes in the RBC, okay, all those things. Immunology, antigen antibody reactions, how we can detect a pathogen using antibody or antigen serological reactions. Okay, this all will be studied by a biomedical scientist, and he will be or she will be applying this knowledge in a lab during the time of pandemic. That's a very important role because they are coming in direct contact with a sample, the patient sample. They will be using all kind of precautionary measures like PPE. They will be using PPE even though they are coming in contact with the patient sample. They are the one who is helping the physician to find what are the changes happened in a patient body because of this pandemic. Okay, that is the importance of a biomedical scientist during pandemic situation. Then Main workplaces of a biomedical scientist in hospital, then research institute, pharmaceutical companies, and biotechnology companies. Then in a hospital setup, what is the role of a biomedical scientist? They will be collecting the sample from the patient. They will be instructing the patient how should they stay while collecting the sample, after collecting the sample, where they keep to the sample, and how they can transport the sample from one place to another place, and how they can process the sample, and after processing, how they can find the causative agent of that disease. Okay, all these this procedure, this process, the mechanism has been done by a biomedical scientist in a hospital setup. Okay. In the laboratory, after processing and during the processing the sample in the laboratory, they will be able to detect the presence of a disease. That means detecting the microorganism or detect the changes in the cells in the which leads to a disease. Okay, they will be able to diagnose what type of pathogen is that. Okay, to prevent the spreading of the disease or infection, they will be able to inform the concerned person that this we found this pathogen. This is important to prevent the spread of infection by taking proper precautions in the society. Okay, provide information for patients, therapeutic plan. They will be informing the doctor or physician that these are the bacteria found, and we have done this antibiotic sensitivity test. We found that this antibiotic is effective or that antibiotic is not effective. Will be informed by the laboratory scientist or biomedical scientist. And monitoring of patient's health condition. Once the patient has took the tablets, again sample will be collected. They will be doing the same process: sample collection, transportation, and processing. Okay, and also their important role in monitoring the disease over time. So these are the very important role played in the laboratory test. Okay, the next is research institute. They are playing a very important role in research institute as well. They will be doing research work to find out the presence of new type of microorganisms, and they will be studying about the nature of new type of microorganism. It can be in vivo, it can be in vitro test to detect the presence of microorganism. And they also take a very important part in the discovering the outbreak of new type of diseases or infections. When there is new type of disease or infections have been reported, the biomedical scientists will be trying to collect the sample, and they will be doing the processing in the lab, and will be trying to find out which bacteria is or which virus is that one or which fungus is that one, doing a lot of techniques such as DNA sequencing or PCR or other important recent techniques they will be employing to find the disease. Then determine the route of transmission of infection. They also can contribute in the epidemiology part of the infection, from where the infection originated, how it is originated, from which animal to which human being it came. Okay, all those things, all those informations can also be invented or discovered by the biomedical scientist. Okay. And also they can do the molecular makeup and pathogenesis of microorganisms. They can find out which DNA, which virus is that. Is it an RNA virus or that is DNA virus, and what type of infection they can cause. Okay. They can establish new methods to cause the infection, and they can develop vaccines. They can take a part in the development of vaccine. Usually development of vaccine or detection of a new pathogen all coming under a group work. It's not an individual work. Everyone's work is important when it comes to a discovery of something new. So they also play important role in the development of vaccine. They also play important role in the effective treatment of a disease. Okay, and new incidents of disease and transmission of disease also can be identified by these biomedical scientists. They are playing a very important role in these all aspects. In biotechnology companies, they will be taking part in the invention of new rapid diagnostic methods and kits. Now, in the current situation when COVID-19 came, now the diagnostic technique are currently going on, and the vaccine productions are still on trial. So in these areas, our biomedical scientists are playing a very important role. Then they are supporting the biomedical scientists. When their new method is employed, they will be supporting them by providing the enough informations when it comes to the new methods. They will be supporting the biomedical scientists. And They also helps in the laboratory diagnosis test. When new tests are invented, they have to trial and error method will be there. They have to try it and find out the error happening, and also they have to run quality control. How effective is this when we are working in a lab? Okay, and development of vaccine for the infections. These all are the very important role played by a biomedical scientist in a biotech company. Then a pharmaceutical company, they study the effect of their drugs on biological system. They will be working along with the pharmacist to find the effect of these drugs in a biological system, and also quality control to check the quality of the medicine. They found a new antibiotic against a bacteria, means how effective is, how when we are using in this different conditions, in vitro and inside a animal body or inside a lab, how effective it is will be. The drug testing, how effective the drug while testing to a new person. Okay, this all played by a biomedical scientist. Okay, these are the important role of a biomedical scientist. So I'd like to have a glimpse on the lab setting of the MAHSA University. Sorry, this is the MAHSA University lab setup, and I hope all of you had a glimpse of what actually a biomedical scientist do. Okay, and thank you very much for MAHSA University providing this chance, and thank you.
Okay, thank you, Miss, for the wonderful presentations. Biomedical scientists are key players in disease diagnosis and monitoring, with 70% of all diagnoses being based on pathology results. It may not be high profile, but biomedical scientist is a profession that definitely carries a feel-good factor. Pathologists and laboratory professionals are the unsung hero in this effort, as they comprise the backbone of medical laboratories, which are conducting testing for the coronavirus. Pathologists and laboratory professionals are the front lines 24/7, making sure that all the tests and functioning that we have the material that we need, and most importantly, the patients are receiving the appropriate diagnosis and treatment in efficient manners. So now our platform are open for questions. If you have any, please drop it in the comment section, as our speaker will answer every question that you ask. Any takers? No questions? None. So by that, I would like to end this session with Madam Sajna by saying thank you for watching this video, and please, I will remind you again, do follow our Facebook page for an updates regarding our future webinars and events. Thank you, Madam.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.